Hey, how's it going? My name is Dean and I'm an adventurer, filmmaker, photographer, and all-around nature addict and explorer from Cape Town, South Africa. I've been traveling and adventuring around the world for the past 10 years, but about 5 years ago, I decided to go on my biggest adventure yet and move across the pond from South Africa to now living in the United States. I've done everything from road tripping across America to then building out a van, doing the whole van life thing, living in a van for 3 months, to more recently hiking the highest points of every state in New England, and I only have more crazy adventure ideas to come. Today I just wanted to speak a little bit about what I believe is the key to living an adventurous life. So I know I've just said these crazy out there adventures that take months or years to achieve, but the honest truth is that an adventure doesn't need to be an international travel. It doesn't need to be some trip across an entire continent or something that takes you 20 years to save up for. Adventure really means embracing new experiences, stepping out of your comfort zone, and seeking excitement in the everyday. So here's how you can cultivate a more adventurous lifestyle. One of the biggest issues that many people face, including myself, when it comes to wanting to do these big grand adventures is time and money. To do these big things, you need to first of all have the time to do them, and if you have a regular 9-to-5 job, you have a family to support, you have a life going on, you can't just take 3 months off to go on a van trip across the country. Similarly, if you don't have thousands of dollars to spend on converting a van and driving across the country and paying rent at the same time, there's a lot of factors that go into these bigger adventures, and not all of us can afford the financial costs of doing so all the time. So what's the solution then? How do you live an adventurous life if you don't really have the time or financial means to do so? So number one is to cultivate the right mindset. Like I said, adventure is not about going to the ends of the earth. Obviously, that's the thing that gets the most attention, the most attraction. It seems like the cool big thing to do, and we all want to do those things, but it's not very realistic and practical on the day-to-day. Building the adventure mindset is about embracing curiosity. It's about being open to learning and exploring and experiencing new things. So on that note, I would prompt you to make a list of all the things that you've wanted to do. At the start of this year, I've made a list of everything that I've been putting off for the longest time. One of those included getting my motorcycle license. I've been wanting to do this for years now, and finally I decided to pull the trigger and I took a course. It was nerve-wracking to say the least because there was a test involved. I had never ridden a motorcycle before, and it was kind of scary, but that pushed me to have those new experiences and build up my confidence and really tune in that adventure mindset of trying to learn and explore new skills and do new things. With that, there's an element of overcoming fear. Like I said, taking that course was kind of scary. I mean, I knew obviously I wasn't going to necessarily die while taking a beginner motorcycle course. I knew that I was in a safe, controlled environment, but whenever you're doing something new, there's always going to be that fear factor. Trying to do something we've never done before has inherent resistance to it. So instead of using that resistance to push you away from doing the thing that you want to do, try and use that as a motivating factor to bring you closer towards the things you want to do. And really lean into that fear factor, the feeling of being scared or nervous. Actually, later today, I'm going to do a lead climbing class. For those of you that don't know, this is more advanced rock climbing technique where you basically are almost like free climbing, leading with the rope. So if you clip in, you will climb higher than where the clip is towards the next point. But if you fall in between that point, you're falling a lot further and a lot harder than you would if it's just a typical top rope climb. So I'm a little bit scared and nervous to do that. I've never done it before. I'm also going to be in a new environment, in a new gym, meeting new people, putting myself out there. So it's all a lot, but you've got to do those things and use that fear as the motivating factor. And then finally, be resilient in it. Like, you're gonna fail in any aspect of life. If you're doing something that's worth doing, you are going to have setbacks. I'm thinking about me saying failure right now, and it's not, you're not gonna fail. You're gonna fail in the definition of fail, but I personally don't see anything as a failure. I see it all as a lesson to be learned from and to take that into another chapter of your life, or to try again and have another go and build more confidence. So just know that setbacks are going to be a part of any adventure journey, and see it as part of the whole story of you overcoming that. The more setbacks there are, the better the story is going to be probably, and the greater the adventure will be. My last point on mindset and developing the adventure mindset is redefining what adventure is. I touched on this a little bit, but adventure isn't traveling to the ends of the earth. Adventure is just looking for new experiences in the everyday. It could be taking a new route to work. It could be walking around your neighborhoods on new roads you've never seen. It could be something as simple as following an ant along your garden and seeing where they go. So redefine adventure from this big picture out there thing to something that can be had on the day-to-day right in front of you. My next tip is to start small. Begin with your own city, your own town, your own province, your own country. Start as small as you possibly can, even your own neighborhood or your own house. Explore local parks, new restaurants, new museums, or even new events going on in your town. On the day-to-day, you can do things like turning off highways when you're trying to go somewhere new and only using back roads only. You can try and go somewhere without a car. If you need to go to work, try biking to work, try running to work, try walking to work. There's so many different ways to get around. Try taking the bus if you've never taken the bus before. All of these things are going to give you a new perspective on your town, the place you live in, and your own life, like the perspective that you have on life. So any kind of new input that you can bring into your life is going to give you new ideas and give you new understandings of the world around you. It's really all about making the unconventional, sometimes inconvenient decision to have an adventure. Convenience is all around us, but convenience can also make our life kind of boring because everything just runs on autopilot. And it takes the fun, it takes the adventure out of things for the most part. So before you do something that you typically do every single day on autopilot or every single week, just think to yourself, how can I do this thing slightly differently this time? And then lastly, on my point of starting small, is to use the concept of the weekend venture. I started out with this concept when I started adventuring back in Cape Town. I was in university. I wanted to go on adventures, but I only had weekends free, really. I didn't have any money because I was at university. I didn't have a job. I didn't have the time to go be a big world traveler. So all I had was Saturday and Sunday, actually half of Saturday because I was playing soccer in the mornings or the afternoons for the most part. And so I would use this free time that I had to go on adventures with my friends and explore my city to the absolute fullest that I could. I'm pretty confident that I've done almost everything that there is to do in Cape Town from an exploratory hiking adventure point of view. Actually, as I'm saying that now, I'm like, no, there's so much more to do still, because that just opened my mind up to even more possibilities. And that's what's really cool about adventure and doing different things and seeing new places, is you always find more. There's always more out there. You just have to go out and look for it. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I recently got back from hiking the 6 highest points in New England. That was such a cool adventure, an idea that I came up with last year, and I thought it would be this like big, massive trip that would take me 2 weeks to do, and it would be pretty intense. The truth is that I've been pretty busy with work recently, and I haven't been able to take 2 weeks off to go do this trip. So what I decided to do was split it up into 2 weekends. So about 2 weekends ago, I went and did Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. And that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I came home. And that was only about an hour and a half, 2 hour radius from me. So really not bad, quick and easy, very cool adventure. It took me to see some new towns that I didn't even know exist. And then most recently this weekend, I went to go do Maine, Vermont, and Massachusetts. And once again, did 3 pretty big hikes within the space of 3 days. My body felt it for sure, but the fact that I could do that in 1 weekend, I just feel so proud of doing that. And I would like to set that example for other people, that you can go do these things on a weekend. You don't need to be a world traveler to do these things. And the best part is, it was for the most part free. I just paid for gas, really. And I slept in my van, so I didn't have to pay for accommodation. But you could sleep in your car. You could make this cheap and quick and easy if you really wanted to. So find some cool things in your area, in your town, and go do them on the weekend. This weekend, make a plan. And then, as much as making plans to do things is important, and like having goals and setting things to look forward to, because that has helped me a lot this year. In the beginning of the year, I made plans and I set goals to do certain adventures that I wanted to do. But on the day-to-day and just in life in general, I think having a mindset of spontaneity, being open to the world and open to new experiences, is always going to give you that life of adventure. You can either be the person that's very planned out, very type A and thorough with their research, which is not a bad thing, and it's definitely necessary for some adventures. But if you are completely planned out and you know everything that you're going to do, you are going to miss out on some of that adventure, the unknown that comes with adventure, that excitement and the things that you can't plan for. And so having a sense of spontaneity and openness is so important to the adventure mindset. It's saying yes to more things, being open to last minute plans and surprises. It's booking a trip somewhere without making any plans of where you're going to stay or what you're going to do. And more often than not, at least for me, those are the best trips, because you just figure it out as you go. You meet new people, you speak to people and get their opinions on what the locals do around the town. And it's such a cool way of living. And I hope that everyone gets to try that out at least once in their life. So just to conclude, adventure doesn't mean looking for the greatest thrills and chills out there. It's just about being open to new experiences, continually learning and finding excitement in the journey of life itself. So if you can approach each day with a sense of curiosity and wonder and questioning of where could this thing go, of what if I do something different, then a life of adventure is right in front of your face. It's all in the mind. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. Go outside, go have an adventure, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.